it's late, singing Margaritaville and minding my own. Hey, 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 coming at you. I'm road tripping from Birmingham back to Birmingham, and I'm currently in Richmond, Virginia. I was trying to find a farmer's market because I like to play my music at farmers markets. And I just woke up into the sunlight. I came into Richmond when it was dark, so I didn't see too much, although I did see some music. And tried to go to this farmer's market, and I went there and I saw nothing. It seemed like it was closed, and it seemed a little shady. The area seemed a little weird, just like downtown Richmond. Although it was a very interesting city so far. But what I want to talk about is, while I was kind of going through and trying to figure out like how shady the area is and like what's going on, I saw these murals on the side of the buildings, and I thought, oh, that's really nice. Look at the murals. Like, it really made me feel good. And it made me get to thinking about this book I was reading, which talks about the first signs of gentrification is art. So when artists start to come into a community, that's a sign that gentrification is happening, or that's the sign that, I guess people with more money could be coming in, or people with less money could be potentially driven out. Basically, it's like a change in the culture and the demographics of that area. And art, the presence of art, is an indication of that. And the reason why is because art indicates safety. So that's the implication. Like, if you see a big mural in that area, it's like a sign, it's like a signal that says this area is safe for you. And I'm not sure, like, at a more fundamental instinctual level, what's driving that. If it's like somebody felt secure enough to stand here and make this mural, and so, like, maybe if it was like a more dangerous area, nobody would feel safe enough to sit and do something like that. I mean, I think that's the general thing about art. In general, is that it comes about when all your kind of other basic needs are taken care of in some sense. Like, if you don't have enough food, then in theory you're going to strive for food, but if all your other needs are taken care of, then you have art. At least, like, at the society level, you're not going to have an actual like art gallery or art studio, because it means that people are kind of spending money on things that are beyond their basic needs, right? And it means you've dedicated a building to something that's not supplying somebody's basic needs, like food or things like that. So the presence of art, again, I'm just emphasizing the presence of art for safety. Then I want to just extend that again to the idea of music. Like, obviously playing on the street is a sign of safety too. You have a expensive instrument that you're carrying, and for me, I like throw down my camera. I usually try to make it so people can't see my camera, but it is out there, and you've got money just kind of laying out there. And I've never had problems. Like, you can have people while you're walking by ask you for money. When you've got your guitar case, I think those same people probably won't ask you for money because they can see that you're supposedly just as poor as they are. But anyway, yeah, so that's just the signal of being present out in musical art in the streets, also indicating a sign of safety. That's the general idea there. And but I want to make a connection between birds. Because birds, basically, when they're making their bird songs, they're also indicating a sign of safety. For one, if they were trying to hide themselves, then a bird song would be the worst thing that you could do, right? Like, if I was in a city too, and I wanted to stay away and not attract attention because it was dangerous, singing and making noise is like the worst thing that I can be doing. And same for birds, because it would allow predators to know that you exist. And so also the thing with bird sounds is that they make them in order to display how attractive they are in terms of attracting mates. And so if birds are in the mode of attracting mates, then it sort of also means that they have satisfied all their other basic needs too. If they were hungry and things like that, then they should be searching for food, but presumably those needs are met, and now they're looking to attract mates, which is like an extracurricular thing. And so, like, I think you could see the parallels with this. Like, there's a whole literature, and I'm fascinated by this idea that we are displaying our fitness is the term that they use. We're displaying our fitness when we by things like playing music and sports and all the things like that. Like that's how we assess each other, because we're basically instinctually, I would argue that we are instinctually evaluating each other for our reproductive abilities. And you know, like I just came from Nashville, and you've got all these artists like George Jones, and you'll see in their descriptions they talk about how they were the top, they were the head, they were the headliners, the top of the food chain, you know, they were generating the hits until they got to a certain age, you know, and then you look for new people. And so that sort of goes along with the way that we do instinctually evaluate these people. Even the success of finding the next big artist, the next big artist is going to be a young person. Let's just face it. Like instinctually, we're going to look for somebody who is also going to be at their peak ability to reproduce, because we instinctually are propping them up as a culture and as a society to propagate their genes, because we've assessed that they have the best fitness among their genes. And you know, this is like, these are just like high level ideas. They don't dictate every single thing. And so I'm not saying that if you're older you can't become famous. Obviously, like, we engage people and we exchange culture, but like that is a competing factor. I just want to argue that that's a competing factor. I just want to make this connection between, you know, these like kind of like really broad, I know I'm kind of going off on a lot of different places, but basically seeing a potentially dangerous area of town, the feeling I get seeing a mural and indicating that that kind of indicates some safety in town, and tying that to the idea that art brings gentrification because it indicates safety. When birds play music, that also indicates safety too, because if there's a predator around, then they won't be playing their bird songs anymore. They'll be trying to minimize their ability to be detected. And so instinctually as well, like, I just want to throw this out there, I think that's why humans are attracted to bird songs in the first place, is because, again, it's like art. Bird song indicates safety as well, because if they're making their songs, then they're not worried about predators, and so they've basically used their senses to tell you that there's not any predators around, even if you're in the forest. So yeah, you know, just like tying connections between the urban landscape and the forest and all these different things I've been thinking about. And yeah, I don't know about the farmers market here in Richmond. I couldn't find it. I'm gonna go look around some more. And thanks for checking this out, my little rant, my little thoughts. I come out with a video once a week where I post my songs, my music, and I post my psychological ideas and my experiences. And I appreciate if you subscribe and hit the bell, hit the like if you like, hit the share if you share, and I appreciate your attention.